In this episode, you'll discover whether supplements can meaningfully support healing in chronic or terminal illness and learn what the 10 most studied options are. You've been told it's incurable, but here at Renegade Remission, we believe in rewriting the story. If you're facing a terminal or chronic illness, you are not alone. I'm Eleni Welch, certified nutritionist, and each week I share healing strategies and remission stories to help you take control of your health, feel better, and rediscover hope. Welcome back to Renegade Remission. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how supplements influence the systems the body depends on for recovery. You'll hear a real story from a clinical study where targeted supplementation contributed to measurable improvements in a progressive neurological condition. And I'll show you a grounded, practical way to choose supplements wisely so that your body gets the support it needs. Supplements are one of the first things people reach for after receiving a diagnosis. Some people look at them as a cure-all, and others assume they are nothing but quote-unquote expensive urine. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Supplements cannot repair a life-threatening illness on their own. They do not replace medical treatment, nutrition, sleep, or emotional healing. We always say you can't supplement your way out of a bad diet and lifestyle. But certain supplements have been studied extensively, and they consistently have been shown to influence biological pathways that directly affect healing. These pathways include inflammation, oxidative stress, mitochondrial energy production, immune modulation, gut function, and detoxification. Supplements may not be cure-alls, but when used thoughtfully and safely, they can support the very systems that illness often destabilizes. Before we explore the 10 most researched supplements, I want to begin with a real case study that highlights what targeted supplementation can do inside of a body that is trying to heal. This is a case study in which secondary progressive multiple sclerosis was treated with a targeted supplement protocol. Secondary progressive MS is one of the most challenging forms of multiple sclerosis. Unlike relapsing remitting MS, where flare-ups come and go, secondary progressive MS typically brings a slow but steady decline. Many patients lose mobility, cognitive clarity, or strength over time, and improvement, especially improvement that is measurable, is not often reported on in literature. In this published case series, each participant followed a comprehensive program targeting mitochondrial health, inflammation, nutrient repletion, and neurological stability. The supplements were not chosen arbitrarily. They were selected because MS patients often have low vitamin D, impaired mitochondrial enzyme activity, elevated oxidative stress, reduced omega-3 intake, and compromised gut microbial diversity. One woman in the study who entered with declining mobility, worsening fatigue, sensory disturbances, and difficulty walking without assistance began taking clinically studied doses of vitamin D3, which is shown to correct deficiency and modulate immune T-cell behavior, omega-3 fatty acids to reduce neuroinflammation and support myelin stability, methylated B vitamins to support myelin repair and mitochondrial energy, magnesium to stabilize nerve firing and reduce muscle spasticity, CoQ10 to improve mitochondrial ATP production, lipoic acid to reduce oxidative stress and protect neurons, probiotics to modulate gut immunity crosstalk, and other antioxidants. Over the next 12 months, her trajectory changed in an amazing way. Her 6-minute walk test improved significantly, fatigue scores declined, depression levels decreased, cognitive clarity improved, and her quality of life assessments showed measurable gains. This was a case of reversal of decline in a disease known for continual progression. This case matters because it shows us what supplements can do when they're used strategically. They strengthen the systems that help the body function despite disease. So here's what science has revealed to be the 10 most studied supplements for healing. The first is omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA. Omega-3s are among the most rigorously studied supplements in chronic illness. EPA and DHA integrate into cell membranes, making them more flexible and less prone to inflammatory signaling. Calder's 2020 review explains that omega-3s shift the balance of lipid mediators, decreasing production of pro-inflammatory molecules like prostaglandins and leukotrienes, and increasing specialized pro-resolving mediators, which help the body turn off inflammation once it's no longer needed. In neurological diseases, DHA supports myelin integrity and synaptic function. In cardiovascular illness, omega-3s regulate arrhythmia risk, endothelial function, and triglycerides. In autoimmune disease, they reduce activation of immune cells and support T regulatory cell function. They also improve mitochondrial membrane health, which enhances ATP production, something almost universally compromised in chronic illness. The second most studied nutrient is vitamin D3. Vitamin D receptors exist on nearly every immune cell, which means vitamin D directly influences how the immune system behaves. Research shows that vitamin D stabilizes immune overactivity by reducing pro-inflammatory cytokines while enhancing antimicrobial peptides like cathelicidin. Many people with autoimmune disease, chronic infection, cancer, and neurological illness present with deficiencies in vitamin D due to inflammation-driven depletion, low sun exposure, malabsorption, or genetic variants. Vitamin D also affects muscle strength, bone density, mood, and mitochondrial efficiency. In chronic illness, repletion of vitamin D often correlates with improved energy, fewer infections, reduced pain, and more stable inflammatory patterns, making it one of the most foundational therapeutic nutrients. Curcumin is another very well-studied nutrient for healing. Curcumin influences many inflammatory pathways and drivers. It also enhances antioxidant defense and detoxification pathways. Curcumin protects mitochondria from damage, supports neuronal resilience, reduces joint and digestive inflammation, and moderates autoimmune activity. It is frequently studied in cancer models, arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, metabolic syndrome, and cognitive decline. Its biggest limitation is absorption, so clinically meaningful doses require enhanced forms. Other well-studied supplements include probiotics and prebiotics. A 2019 review described how probiotics can enhance barrier integrity, reduce intestinal permeability, decrease endotoxin translocation, and influence immune cells like dendritic cells, T cells, and natural killer cells. Improving the gut environment also reduces systemic inflammation, given that 70% of immune tissue sits in the gut-associated lymphoid tissue. Prebiotics, which are the fibers that feed beneficial bacteria, are equally important, supporting the production of short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which reduces inflammation, improves insulin sensitivity, and strengthens gut barrier function. The fifth well-studied supplement is magnesium. Magnesium is required for ATP production. Without it, mitochondria cannot function efficiently. Magnesium deficiency increases inflammatory stress, sensitizes the nervous system, disrupts sleep, and contributes to muscle tightness, arrhythmias, anxiety, and pain. Because chronic illness increases magnesium utilization, especially under stress, many patients are deficient in it and benefit from forms like glycinate or malate, which are calming and bioavailable. Magnesium also regulates NMDA receptors, reducing neuroexcitability, and modulates the stress response through the HPA axis, that's the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, making it a multi-purpose therapeutic mineral. Another well-studied supplement is coenzyme Q10, otherwise known as CoQ10. CoQ10 is indispensable for mitochondrial ATP production. Without adequate CoQ10, cellular energy output declines, which is a hallmark of chronic illness, neurodegeneration, cardiovascular disease, and fatigue syndromes. Studies of CoQ10 behavior have shown that it acts as a lipid or fat-soluble antioxidant, protecting membranes, lipoproteins, and DNA from oxidative stress that can damage them. In heart failure, CoQ10 supplementation has shown clinically significant benefits. In neurological disease, it protects neurons from mitochondrial dysfunction. People with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, statin-induced muscle pain, or neurological symptoms often report improved stamina and clarity with CoQ10 use. Another well-studied supplement is N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. NAC is a precursor to glutathione, the body's master antioxidant involved in detoxification, immune defense, and cellular protection. A 2013 paper showed that NAC replenishes glutathione when illness, medication, or oxidative stress depletes it. NAC also reduces airway mucus, which is especially beneficial in respiratory diseases, improves liver detoxification, and modulates glutamate, influencing anxiety, cognitive stability, and mood. In chronic illness, glutathione depletion is extremely common. NAC supports recovery by rebuilding antioxidant capacity and improving detoxification efficiency. It's important to note that in order to create glutathione from NAC, you need sufficient selenium in your body. So if you do not get enough seafood or other natural sources of selenium, you might consider taking a glutathione supplement directly rather than going through NAC. Another well-studied nutrient is alpha-lipoic acid, otherwise known as ALA. ALA is both water and fat-soluble, giving it access to virtually all tissues, including the brain. Research has shown that ALA recycles other antioxidants, such as vitamin C and E and glutathione, enhances insulin sensitivity, improves mitochondrial enzyme activity, and reduces nerve pain. Clinically, ALA is most famous for improving diabetic neuropathy, but it also supports liver repair, cognitive health, and metabolic resilience. Another well-studied supplement are medicinal mushrooms. Medicinal mushrooms act as immune modulators through their beta-glucan content that regulate and stimulate immune function. A 2012 study on turkey tail mushroom found improved natural killer cell activity in women receiving breast cancer treatment, indicating enhanced immune surveillance and function. Reishi supports stress adaptation through the HPA axis, and lion's mane supports nerve growth factor, which may benefit cognitive repair. Mushrooms can reliably strengthen the aspects of immunity that illness often weakens. The 10th most well-studied supplement is the B complex vitamins. A 2006 Lancet Neurology review outlined how the complex of B vitamins, B2, B3, B6, B9, B12, are required for myelin synthesis, neurotransmitter production, detoxification, DNA repair, and red blood cell formation. Deficiencies can cause neuropathy, cognitive decline, weakness, depression, elevated inflammatory markers, and impaired healing. People with chronic illness often have absorption issues regarding the B vitamins, increased metabolic demand, or medication-induced depletion, especially if they're using things like metformin or PPIs. Restoring B vitamin levels can dramatically improve energy, neurological function, and metabolic resilience. I'm a big fan of using food-based B vitamins, which we know our body can handle and absorb. Otherwise, look for a methylated version because many people have the MTHFR mutation, which keeps them from adequately absorbing other unmethylated forms of B vitamins. This is by no means an exhaustive list. There are many supplements that I haven't covered today that could prove very beneficial in your healing journey, especially things like vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E. But the research behind these 10 supplements show that they meaningfully influence the biological processes required for healing, inflammation regulation, mitochondrial repair, immune balance, detoxification, and nervous system stability. They're not meant to replace your care team or your nutrition plan or your emotional healing. They are meant to support the body that is already trying to heal itself. Many people will not need all 10, but they do need targeted support to replenish what their illness has depleted and strengthen pathways that have been destabilized. The best way to begin supplementation is slowly and intentionally. Many people start with one supplement that addresses the most pressing biological need, often vitamin D if levels are low, or omega-3s if inflammation is high, magnesium if stress and pain are dominant symptoms, and the B vitamins if energy is low. Using blood work to determine your nutrient status can give a lot of clarity. From there, you can build gradually, noticing how your energy, sleep, digestion, and mood respond. Supplements should be layered thoughtfully with the guidance of your clinician, especially if you're on a medication or managing a complex illness. Supplements are powerful tools that can help support the internal conditions where healing becomes more possible. They support the systems that keep you alive, your mitochondria, immune cells, nerves, gut lining, antioxidant defenses, and detox pathways. Healing is never about perfection. It's about giving your body support in ways that feel sustainable and aligned with your needs. You don't need to fix everything at once. You simply need to support your system in a way that helps it do what it's already trying to do: heal. In our next episode, I'll discuss how to build a healing supplement routine without overwhelm or burnout. So stay tuned for that episode, and until then, go be renegades.